They use force to make you do what the deciders have decided you must do. They use force to make you do what the deciders have decided you must do.
What's good, YouTube? This is a video that I never planned on making, but sometimes you have a really strong reaction. Something makes you realize something in such a profound way that you have to put it out there. I do not want veganism on YouTube to be something where everyone has the same message. Everyone has to follow some sort of set rules on how their message is relayed.
There is no one-size-fits-all approach to spreading veganism. If we set ourselves as a community on any one strategy, be it yours, mine, or his, we'd be guaranteed to alienate a certain amount of people. What makes far more sense is to allow for a variety of approaches. If every vegan were to take the same approach and try to appeal to as many people as possible, then we would end up excluding everybody who isn't interested in a G-rated, politically correct populist message. We need to allow the diversity of personality types within the vegan movement to express themselves honestly. This is the only way to appeal to everybody.
I feel like we're in a place right now where the vegan message is something that's trying to be protected, something that's trying to be policed. I'm not saying that there are examples when people take it too far, but I think the game changes a little bit when we get to the point where any time the vegan message is being perceived as being taken too far, that we react.
Sorsha's video is a great example of bad vegan activism. Bad vegan activism. Bad vegan activism.
I don't want the vegan message to necessarily always be PG. And I don't want police out there telling me that my message is not PG enough for everyone. That it's not okay, that somehow it's not something that meat eaters can handle. I think there's room for a lot of different methods for spreading the message. You know, not everyone is going to be convinced by the same things. It's okay for there to be a little bit of a difference out there.
They use force to make you do what the deciders have decided you must do.
So in Sorsha's video, she's very negative, very demanding. She pretty much embodies the stereotypical, like, militant, elitist vegan who just snubs her nose at...
But yes, we do have problems with rage and hatred and violence in veganism, but it ain't her. It ain't Sorsha.
Now, Unnatural Vegan wants to sit there in her video, and she starts out the video saying that she believes that Sorsha moreover comes off as a militant vegan. Is Sorsha Morava a militant vegan, folks? Sorsha Morava with her yoga pants video that plays every single time you go to her page. Is he a militant vegan, folks?
As she says in the video, if you don't have a core message that's making a positive impact on the planet, what the fuck are you doing? Then she says that over and over and over and over again for like a few minutes.
Elements of Sorsha's comedy that are absurd and ridiculous are very much intentionally absurd and ridiculous.
I'm keenly aware that most of what Sorsha Morava makes is parody, is comedy. I think that's very well established.
What the fuck? Oh, you people, so pathetic. What was this, your chance to try to stunt on Sorsha?
I enjoy the fact that you can go to different people's channels and you can get a different way of something being presented with each one. Some of them are going to be more serious, some of them are going to be less serious. And also for that reason, I don't think we can treat every single one the same. Nor can we treat the responses that non-vegans have to each one the same.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Someone is trying hard.
Yoga pants are so slutty. It's so slutty. So slutty. So slutty. So slutty. So slutty.
Seriously.
You fucking dirty.
So slutty.
You just answered your own question, you dumb bitch. This person is insane. Are all vegans part of some cult or something? Wait, raping?
Raping.
Wait, raping?
Raping.
Did she say raping?
Raping.
For food?
Raping.
Raping animals for food?
Raping and slaughtering innocent beings.
What the
If you watched Sorsha's original video and you didn't like it, what do you rate it? A 5 out of 10? People who like it more maybe give it a 7 out of 10? Whatever. Fine. What do you rate PewDiePie's video? It's a 0. He responds to the points that Sorsha made by saying Sorsha shows off her ass and Sorsha has a nice body. And none of you find fault with that?
You know, it's within PewDiePie's prerogative as someone who doesn't care for veganism, who really doesn't care about the whole thing, you know, to say something like that, to call Sorsha Morova a cult member, to make her out to be this extremist. And why are we okay with that? Why is that chill? Why do we not respond to that as strongly as to someone who made a video that is 1 year old, for the record? She didn't make this yesterday. This is a year old. You know, think about what kind of videos you were making a year ago. Think about how you feel about those videos now.
My tone and like the way that I went about it, like it's cringy to me now.
What do you think specifically you may have done differently feeling the way you feel about it now?
I really think like the style.
On some level, can you connect with that feeling of Sorsha Moravas? You know, having someone pick out a piece of your work that you made a year ago that's maybe not entirely reflective of how you go about things now, how you feel about what you want your message to be now, and having them come at you for that, and then having the entire vegan community come down on you and call you militant, saying that the way that you go about everything that you do is wrong and bad, shaking their finger at you for something you made a year ago.
They don't seem to really care about the response they don't seem to really care what is and what isn't effective activism. When pointed out to these YouTubers that their methods, may not be effective, that they may be turning more people away from veganism than they are bringing people toward it, many of them don't seem to care. And
honestly, I'm coming from a place, I started thinking about veganism, honestly, watching Vegan Gains' channel. I know Vegan Gains has got a lot of negative feedback on the things he said. I've made videos critiquing the things he's talked about before. But, Vegan Gains, my initial response to Vegan Gains was, how dare he? Who is this guy? Who is this jerk? I thought his videos were fascinating. I started out watching them because, I enjoyed on some level hating him. That was interesting to me. That was a reason to watch. How much I hated him was a reason to watch him. But, over time, I realized he's right. Something he says in there has meaning. Something he says in there has a lot of truth to it. What he's talking about makes sense. What he's talking about, what he's promoting, is good. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Vegan Gains didn't play a huge part in my decision to go to a vegan diet, to become plant-based, and ultimately for me being vegan today. He had a role in that. And I hated him in the beginning. But you think about these enough, you see them enough, you're aware that they exist. They sit in your brain. Inception occurs if you're someone who's willing to think about it enough. I have to be honest about that. I didn't necessarily have a great response in the beginning. But that did not stop me from following that path. And honestly, for that reason, I am a little bit skeptical of people who use that as an excuse for why they're not interested. I think it is an excuse.
Most people think veganism is unhealthy, that a vegan diet is unhealthy and just far too difficult to stick with. And they also think vegans, they don't think too highly of us. It's important to be a counterexample to the crazy.
I don't want veganism, especially on YouTube, to be this whole thing where just because we're afraid of people having a negative response, that we kowtow to them. that we cater everything about how we go about everything to them. I don't want to live and be afraid of getting a negative response. And I think everyone who's vegan, who's had conversations with non-vegans, who's had to deal with family members who are non-vegans, I think we can all kind of connect with that on some level. That in some way you realize, you see what's going on around you and you have a little bit of a negative response to it. Whether you're at the dinner table with your family and they're eating meat, and on some level I think it makes you angry. A little bit. It's not chill. On some level, if we're honest with ourselves, we're all a little militant about this whole thing. We're all a little bit serious about the whole thing. We're all a little bit biased. We're all a little bit black and white. And why do we have to pretend that we're not? Why do we have to go about spreading the message in a way that denies all that? That's all I want to say to you. Have a thought about that. Roll it around a few times. See what you come out with.
Maybe PewDiePie was converted to go vegan after watching Sorsha's video. If so, I retract every single statement I've ever made.
Just ridiculous.
Don't want